Backstage buzz, we prep for the sound. The curtain falls and the crowd's all round. The night's still young and the stage is set. Our voice is ready, no time for regret. Wisdom and laughter in a verbal embrace. Tonight we're ruling this electric space. Wonder Dream release time for us. Diving deep in after-show debates. Echoed by with hot takes so contentious. Hearts race on, our pulse relentless. Yeah! We're alive with every mic. Yeah! Like the stars and like the night. Yeah!
Hello, salutations. What it do? It's not the gamer or father dear gang the boss like subscribe. Let's get it. Know your place.
I know. That's my bad. I saw you looking over to see if I was nodding my head.
I didn't even have to look. I knew you were nodding your head.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Welcome, everyone, to the Aftershow Podcast. Congratulations to Mikey Dykes on being first. We are live once again for another week of pop culture, news, and whatever just so happened to be going on in our lives. Appreciate you for joining us once again. Big shout out to the chat, both on the YouTube and on the Twitter side. We are streaming. Appreciate everybody. What's up, old man Eastwood, Laker man, Camoose? Appreciate all you guys hanging out. We got a fun show. We got some fresh gamer rage to talk about. We got people once again are mad at Sony. We got another fucking Batman game, some Suicide Squad. We'll talk about a little bit of that. And of course, the best thing possibly ever that Marvel has done. X-Men 97 dropped a new episode, so we could talk about that. What's up, Porter? Just dropping by. How are you doing, Mr. Nodding his head eagerly?
Better than I was a week ago, I guess. So,
hey, that's all you can hope for.
All you can hope for. I got to go to game 3 of the Bruins Toronto Maple Leaf series.
I thought you were going to say something that mattered, like basketball.
They lost, but I got my my puck.
Well, that's nice.
So it's kind of cool. 2 original 6 teams lost, but hey, anytime you go to a playoff game, you really can't complain. I would like to point out, I'm not wearing a Celtics hat, and I could be.
You could be.
I at no point in time gloated, and I could have.
Could you have, though?
Yes, I could have. Here's the better question. Would you have? Yes.
If you lost, absolutely.
no, like in my shoes.
In your shoes?
Yes.
No, there'd be nothing to blow about. You're the number 1 seed, and you beat a team missing 2 of its best players.
Aww. They weren't beating us. The only game they won was a game where they set a record for 3-pointers made in a single game.
If they had Jimmy and Rozier healthy, y'all would have been in trouble.
And then they proceeded to not even hit that many 3-pointers for the rest of the series. 23 threes in game 2, 21 the rest of the series.
We needed Jimmy. We needed playoff Jimmy.
It wouldn't have mattered.
That's what y'all said last time.
Yeah. Anyway.
Jay's excited.
Anyway.
Shout out to Lejeune. Anyway, my Sixers, unfortunately, once again, let the city down.
I got to say something, though. I mean, I know there's a lot of complaints about Joel Embiid and how dirty he was this series. But, that man played on one leg.
And with half his face.
Yeah. I can't. I actually came out of that series with a lot of respect for him. Like, he went to war in a very broken body.
Very.
And like, he always plays on. But I mean, he was really hurt. Like he was really hurt, and you could tell.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't even jumping.
He could not jump. Like the few times I would see him like actually jump and make it like a big play, he'd immediately like be holding his knee.
Yeah.
like it was bad.
yeah, he was real hurt, and you could tell. And like, it's unfortunate, but nah, it's Philly. Who cares?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's literally happens to him beat every playoff.
Yeah, well, it's a long season.
I mean, which he missed, 30 games of.
Yeah, well, I mean, my worst nightmare kind of happened with, Porzingis.
I mean,
so.
We all knew that was definitely happening.
yeah. So I'm just hoping. I'm hoping Orlando wins tonight. Get that to a game 7. Then I don't really care who wins. I should probably want Orlando to win, but like, for some reason the Celtics played poorly against them this year. So
I would absolutely love to have the Orlando Magic go to the conference finals.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Against Indiana.
Imagine
like an NBA finals of like Minnesota versus Orlando.
No, at some point they're going to call Scott Foster and be like, all right, we can't have this. We need some stars.
Yeah.
Somewhere. One of these series have the Timberwolves not a big deal because Anthony Edwards is basically the face of the league now. So they'll be fine with Minnesota making it, but Indiana or Orlando, they'd be like,
I mean, Indiana, like, honestly, it doesn't really. Well, all right, Indiana's playing the Knicks, so let them take it out on each other.
I feel like the Knicks are going to win that series.
Yeah. Brunson's kind of on another level right now.
Yeah, Halliburton is great. I think Halliburton was better for most of the season, but Jalen Brunson is just him when it counts.
Yeah.
Like he's playoff tested, and Halliburton isn't.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see that. I just need I need them to go to game 7. Give Porzingis a little bit more time to heal. So different team when he's on.
Oh, for sure. Very different. Like without Porzingis, I mean, what do you have? Jason Tatum.
I mean,
Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown.
Listen,
Al Horford.
you cannot stop Luke Cornett. You can only hope to contain him.
Don't you got Xavier? Don't you got Xavier Tillman too?
Yeah, but I think Cornett's above him on the depth chart.
Jesus, like the fact that y'all have not made it to the finals in like how many years?
NBA finals?
Yeah.
We lost to Golden State in a series we should have won a couple years ago. We always make it like the Eastern Conference Finals at least.
Yeah.
We're like the Buffalo Bills of the NBA right now.
A lot of shouldas, woulda, couldas when it comes to Celtics.
I agree. And I said that to you like last week. I said like every year it's like, oh well, they're young, they're still learning, they're still growing. They're not. They are here. They are like not kids anymore. Jason Tatum is no longer 19. That was the joke for a while. He's only 19. Well, he's older than that now.
So if they manage to lose with the teams that we have left, holy.
I mean, the teams that are left are like the Knicks are legit. The Pacers are legit.
Yeah.
I think so.
Pacers are talented. I don't know if they're too young.
They're the 3 though, right? Or are they the 6? No, they're the 6. You're right. The Bucks were the 3.
Like I'm watching because I watch them play, and they'll just have these long stretches where I'm like, they look terrible. They look like they don't belong here. But they have a lot of talented people, and I think it's literally just the fact that the Knicks legitimately have a really good team, and I think they can give them a run for their money. But then Jalen Brunson, he's been amazing, but he's also had some tough going shooting wise, and that team literally relies entirely on Brunson for like being aggressive, going off doing his thing, and I'm wondering how well they will do with like Drew Holiday harassing him the whole series.
Yeah, or Derek White.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, is he going to be okay?
Yeah, Derek White was the star of that series, like in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
I mean, he took over game 4 and 5.
Yeah, there's definitely a talent gap there. Like the Knicks have some cool personnel in terms of like defense and rebounding. You know, like I'm sure Hartenstein can definitely bully Porzingis inside, but when it comes to that perimeter play, it's gonna be interesting. But we gotta talk about your favorite topic, which is Helldivers 2. Jay absolutely loves Helldivers slander. He cannot, and it's even better because you get to slander Helldivers and Sony in the same host.
I think my take on this is going to surprise you.
I always love when Jay surprises. So for those who don't know, we got another gamer controversy. Helldivers 2, of course, one of the biggest games of the year. I think it's literally only topped by Power World at this point. Massively successful game, #1 game on Steam, live service done right, AA once again showing AAA how it's done, all that good stuff. But unfortunately, the game is published by Sony, which comes with some complications. In this case, Sony, like every other major platform holder, you know, the Xbox is pretty much the same. They're like, hey, I'm glad you're enjoying our PlayStation game on PC, but we kind of need you in our Sony ecosystem. So we're gonna need you to get a PlayStation Network account. It's totally free. Takes a second to sign up. No big deal. We need that to log in. Unfortunately, it's a big deal to some people. There are several countries that don't have access to the PlayStation Network, which would effectively mean that they bought a game and they've been playing it for several months, and now Sony's like, oh yeah, you can't play it anymore. Sucks to be you. So naturally, that's led to some outrage. It's currently being review bombed on Steam. The CEO, we saw this is breaking. The CEO of Arrowhead apologized to the fans. Generally a good seems like a stand-up guy, but yeah, this was definitely something that's, you know, out of their hands. In terms of like 14,000 negative. Holy. Now, in terms of like what actually happened, I play on PlayStation, so this doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. But I guess my one objection is not only the fact that there are some people who just straight up won't be able to play the game anymore, which I feel like is pretty shitty thing to do. But also, like, I roll my eyes at the reason that they gave. Safety is the reason that they want to roll this out, and it's like, no, it's obviously bullshit. We know, we know you just want our data. You want people in the ecosystem. We get it, but yeah, otherwise, I feel like if you're one of the people who can't get PlayStation Network, you have every reason to be outraged. But everyone else, I feel like it's kind of performative. What do you think, Jay?
If you had to guess what I think, what would you think I was going to say right now?
Well, Jay usually sides with the corporation, but also Jay hates Helldivers and Sony, so torn. But I think you're going to ultimately say, fuck the players.
I am going to say, fuck everybody. Okay, first of all, this is stupid. And they said when the game launched that this was going to be a thing. When you log into 2K, you gotta like sign up for your little 2K account.
Yep.
When you sign into Suicide Squad, you gotta sign into your WB Games account.
Yep.
When you sign into I don't know, like Sea of Thieves,
Marvel's Avengers, you got your Square Enix account.
but even like Sea of Thieves, if you log into that on Steam, you have to sign into your Microsoft account. Okay, this is a thing that like many games do, that you have to log on. And on top of that, they told you when the game launched that this was going to happen. You're a gigantic baby. Get over it. Okay. Like, stop review bombing them. It's nonsense. However, let me tell you who I blame the least for this. Actually, I have zero blame for Arrowhead. They're off the hook. Obviously, because they did nothing wrong at all. And I think it's a travesty that PlayStation patted them on the bum and said, walk out there and tell them that you're worried about the racists that were calling Sadot bad names. And this is for your own good, to protect Sadot the gamer's fragile ego and his like very, very sensitive feelings.
And remove Nazis from the platform.
Exactly. Like, go say that's why, and they'll believe it. Shut up. Like, how insulting was that message? PlayStation is the biggest problem. Well, all right, no. Actually, I don't know. Gigantic babies, PlayStation, lying bitches.
This is back-to-back PlayStation controversies. The first one, of course, being their alleged censorship of Stellar Blade, and now this. So next will be great monetization.
Let me just say this, okay? There's no way, shape, or form this is about your safety. Your, like Sadot. I know it made you sad. Actually, no, that was bullshit what happened. But I'm not even gonna make light of that. I was trying to dunk on Sadot a little, but
he missed the rim.
It doesn't really work because like what happened to you, like, honestly is gross. But seriously, like it's ridiculous to actually put that message out there. I think the thing I've respected the most about Arrowhead throughout all of this is just how honest they've been. Like, they've always been upfront about everything. And today Sony made them trot out there with a bullshit lie and thought that like they were just like, people going, oh, okay, you've made enough good faith effort, so we're just going to give you this one. I'm sorry, that messaging was awful, and it came from Sony, and it shouldn't be a surprise because Sony is the one that's always holding gaming back. Crossplay, like all of those things are them putting their foot down. And since Jim Ryan left, I thought those things were kind of going to be in the past because I kind of felt like that was a him thing.
Nope.
But I guess not.
Nope. Jim Ryan was a scapegoat.
I guess so. But this is stupid. It's really stupid. Like, it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but I feel like they turned it into a little bit of a big deal by just not being honest. And I do feel like they should get the benefit of the doubt, Arrowhead being them, not PlayStation, because Arrowhead has been upfront about pretty much everything, and they've been pretty honest. And I do feel like I feel like it's kind of crazy that like how quickly gamers can turn, how little good faith means.
Well, as someone who's lived through 3 Spider-Man games now,
yeah,
I know firsthand how worthless gamers are.
Yeah, and that's like honestly where I'm at. Like the review bombing is stupid though, man. Grow up.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing to do. Let's drop the review bomb, like, because this is how they feel powerful. Like, they can't they can't review bomb Sony. Like, it's a big corporation, so they're like, okay, well, let's punish the game that we're going to play anyway. except for the people who can't get the PlayStation Network account.
So here's the bigger question: was there a big dip today? Like, is
No.
it too soon to like be able to see that?
I mean, not necessarily, but I checked earlier and they had over 100,000 concurrents on Steam. So not making it dead so far. Let's check right now. It's evening now.
Yeah, I don't know how to check that stuff.
Yes. Remember, chat, Jayshockblast is extraordinarily old. This technology is a bit foreign to him. So let's check right now for Helldivers 2 player numbers on Steam. And so far, under 100,000. Currently at 87,000 concurrents, 24-hour peak of 119,000.
If you scroll down, like, does it show you like where it's been each day this week? Because I see 1 week.
You got 48 hours.
Yeah, it's unchanged.
Yeah, so it doesn't
it has not had any effect whatsoever.
Yeah, as I assume earlier, because when all this was breaking, it was well over 100,000 views, 100,000 concurrent players. So doesn't look like it's really.
Yeah, but if you go to the week view, like, look, it's about the same. It's down like a smidge, but it started like on like April 30th.
Yeah, it started trending down slightly. So far this outrage looks like once again, chronically online, Twitter, not real life. Right. I mean, there are definitely going to be people obviously who can't play anymore, but I feel like most of this is performative. Almost everyone who's complaining on Twitter are still going to play the game. like at the end of the day, it's a shitty situation, but it's more so going to make people continue to hate Sony, and they're ultimately not going to hold it against Arrowhead.
Yeah,
because I mean, there's literally nothing Arrowhead can do.
Nope, they were told go say this. Yeah. That's what they said.
You can even tell, like, because they didn't even do like clever in-universe, jargon or anything like that. They didn't play it up for the meme or anything. They're just like, nope, here's a statement prepared by Sony Legal that we have to read to you.
Yeah, so it sucks for them, but I don't know.
I mean, it is the business. I mean, that's the thing. They're AA. They wanted to make a nice little leap with Helldivers 2. Obviously, game is expensive, and they decided, okay, well, we'll work with Sony here for the publishing. That will give us, a lot more resources in order to make the game that we want to make. But the trade-off is that you're, then beholden to that publisher. Obviously the idea would be to self-publish, but it's easier said than done. Like that money's got to come from somewhere. Got 100 people, got 100 devs to pay off. Gotta get that funding from somewhere, and this is a trade-off.
Yeah, and I don't follow the game very closely, obviously, but like I saw there's like a new war bond that came out. Is that something you have to buy?
It's coming out. War bond's coming out next week. The war bond is their version of a battle pass, which isn't even really a battle pass. You can unlock it with the super credits, which you can spend real money to acquire, or you can unlock it with medals, which is a in-game currency that you can only get from playing missions, and that currency also is used to unlock the individual items on the war bond. Once the war bond is unlocked, then you can only spend medals in order to get the stuff on there. That's how it works. So the only thing that you actually spend the super credits on are those new war bonds if you want to, or they'll have some rotating gear in the shop that you can buy, and that's it. And you could also earn super credits not only on the war bond itself, but you can find it just in the game, like out in the world. Look around for points of interest, and there'll literally be super credits there. So, very fair system.
Love to see it.
Yep, very very good. One of the many reasons some fans still have good vibes and faith in Arrowhead because of how player friendly the game is. Unfortunately, and literally anytime these gamers they're just looking for an opportunity. One sign of weakness, they're looking for opportunity to just turn like, oh, see, I do it.
Let me just tell you, Fortnite today had a big Star Wars update.
I noticed,
and I had 10,000 V-Bucks in my account that had just been sitting there for a while. That's probably $65 or so.
Mhm.
It's gone. All right, they got the AWR Trooper, which is like the Death Trooper from Rogue One, the black trooper with like the green eyes.
African American.
I meant like, are they? Anyway, so they got that trooper. There was a Luke Skywalker with Yoda back bling. There was a little mini pass for Chewbacca, and there's also Lando Calrissian. Okay,
that's my Chewbacca.
And then they also put out a car that you can make change the way it looked. I think it was like a Lamborghini, and you can make it look like Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, the Armorer, and Sabine. Like the coloring. The car is obnoxiously, it's like 2,800 V-Bucks. It's pathetically expensive. But I got it all, and I am down to 100 V-Bucks.
Chill.
So, well, I use creator code Jayshockblast for all my Epic Game Store needs, so I'll get 5% of that back and write the rest off on my taxes.
I did not install it
all. There is supposedly a second wave of Jujutsu Kaisen coming, and today's update also showed Loki and Sylvie.
I sleep.
And there's also a My Hero Academia, like 3 more characters from that coming.
That's fun. Yeah, I'm still gonna sit back and
I'm sure
not play Fortnite.
Let's see. I don't know who the My Hero people are. Maybe I don't know. Do you even watch? Is that a show of yours?
It's literally one of the biggest anime of all time.
Well, I didn't know if it was like, I know some people like talk about like how they don't like it.
We've talked about it on the show before.
Okay. These are the 3 that are coming.
Yeah. All Might is literally on the wallpaper on my phone.
Yeah. Oh, All Might's already in the game.
Yeah.
I don't know who these 3 are, but
they're the League of Villains. Part of the League of Villains.
Okay. Well, that's who got decrypted today.
Not bad.
And also X-Men. I don't remember. I saw something about the Jujutsu Kaisen, but here it is. Jujutsu Kaisen 0 collab is reportedly in the works. Planned characters are Yuta, Maki, Zenin, and Panda. I don't know what that means to you.
All great characters, especially Panda.
All right, so there you go. But yeah, also rumors of some X-Men coming in. I would imagine Cyclops, Magneto. But yeah, so
I would love some X-Men 97.
Yeah, man, that I don't know if that's the transition we needed, but that show that show is must watch.
Literally at 3 a.m. when I saw fucking Spider-Man, I was like, ah!
Well, I, on the other hand, sent out my tweet wondering if the Spideyverse was actively trying to tear down the suit and talk about how mid it is, how it's the worst Spider-Man suit in any cartoon. So, but that was definitely cool. I definitely marked out a little bit when Spidey showed up.
That was so good. I mean, Magneto, but the animation. I saw someone try to have this like their engagement farm where they're trying to argue that the show is overrated. I'm like, this is this is so good on so many levels. Like not just the animation, but it's so. If you've watched enough Marvel content, especially on Disney Plus, it makes it stand out so much more because the show has a plan. It has it's like the antithesis of everything like that we've come to not like about Marvel. It has something to say. It's got an actual plan. Like you could tell that hey, someone planned this series out and aren't just kind of winging it. You could obviously tell the creator loves X-Men, did not go by the don't read the source material mandate. They 100% put a lot of love into the show, and the animation is just so good. Like it legitimately is like watching a really good anime. Like that's the start thing. Like I'm spoiled by the just overwhelming amount of good anime, and comparatively, American animation is lacking. But X-Men 97 is on the it's on the come up. It is so good. Now, I assumed that the Gambit thing wasn't going to stick, but it looks like it might stick.
Nah, it ain't sticking.
It feels like it's sticking.
No, they've got ways. There was something with Krakoa where like everybody was basically reborn. There's ways. There's so many ways around it. You also have to remember.
Fuck! I hope they don't do that plant shit.
There's also, Apocalypse could roll in, and Gambit was the Horseman of Death, or no, he might have been Pestilence, but he was one of the 4 Horsemen of Death.
Right.
So,
I'm hoping he comes back. It was so. I mean the Rogue stuff is just heartbreaking. Like the Rogue the acting. They did such an amazing job playing up Rogue's grief. It's so good. It was so good.
Just like Chuck's cap shield. It's like later, go get it.
Just threw it all just right in the mouth. like it's like you're not getting that back. That's crazy. And then when the Xavier shows, like I legitimately every time they do to me my ex, I just cream a little bit. Like it's so like it was perfectly timed too. You had the first one to kick off the show with Cyclops after that badass intro, and you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, here we go. And then after this devastating episode, to see Xavier back again on Earth, to be so good.
Yeah, the only thing is that you have to remember, I guess, that I think they did the Horseman angle at some point already.
In 92, that was when they mainly were focused around Archangel.
Yeah. So, and I don't 100% remember if Gambit was one of the Horsemen with Archangel.
In 92, no.
Right, in the comics either.
In the comics, probably, but in 92, it was just Archangel that they focused on.
We have a Google machine, so
yeah, you know how to use that. I actually, funny enough, speaking of Emma Frost, I saw someone on Twitter before that episode reveal where they were like, they better do Diamond Emma Frost. And then when I saw they did Diamond, I was like, "Yep, they're thinking of everything. They're in touch with the culture."
Okay, yeah. So it was not. He was in his own group. Gazer as War, Sunfire was Famine. We've seen Sunfire. Polaris was Pestilence, and Gambit was in fact Death. So that was that group of horsemen.
Well, they've very clearly teased Apocalypse showing up in the show at some point. So I imagine, especially with Cable involved.
Yeah. They've done so many different like versions of the Horsemen too. Like there's a version that was like Grim Reaper, Sentry, Dakin, and Banshee. So
I'm curious to see their take on Apocalypse, because so far I feel like they've done such a great job of elevating these characters from their portrayal in '92. Like in '92, like rewatching it, the Sentinels never just didn't feel threatening, really. And that's part of the whole kind of Saturday morning cartoon thing. And I just love how they, even when the X-Men are beating the Sentinels, they're like, they really made it clear, oh, they are not to be fucked with. Like this is a problem. So I love to see their Apocalypse, because we know he's a lot. We know he love in 90. I think it was season 5. Apocalypse comes back all the fucking time, but I think he came back at least 3 or 4 different times in '92. But I think the last time was in season 5, because it had the new animation. It's when Beast went on, kind of like, I guess they were going on like a educational trip with the Jubilee, and they ended up getting captured by this tribe who worships Apocalypse as a god in the temple. And it turns out that Apocalypse was communicating through the temple in like an astral form, because he survived getting erased from the timeline somehow. And then at the end he was able to get back on because originally they were going to use Jubilee as a sacrifice to make him the vessel, but he ended up finding a new one to occupy so he can get back on her. But after that we didn't see Apocalypse again, but we know he's lurking now somewhere after that. Obviously he wasn't going to just quit, like, oh, I got a vessel now, so pack it up.
I did think it was just as cool to see Omega Red.
Oh yeah, it was great.
So it's certainly interesting. Who was the other one they showed? Omega Red.
They showed Doom as well, Dr. Doom.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there was that little flash, that like the flash into people. There's Omega Red, Spider-Man, and I don't think it was Doom, because they showed. Oh, maybe it was Doom. I felt like they showed Doom talking to like Sinister or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember who else they showed, but I remember Doom. Obviously, I obviously remember Spider because he stood out. But as Magneto, they made him so badass.
Yeah.
Like just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to turn off the set, everything. Just going to turn off the world.
Silver Samurai, that's who it was. Good call, Leak, man.
Silver Samurai, yeah, you got it. Yeah, I remember him from that episode in '92 when Wolverine went on like kind of a sabbatical because he was tired of the violence and he wanted to get away. So he went to this peaceful Japanese village that of course was getting extorted by Silver Samurai and his gang. I love how Wolverine just, and the village people came together to just whoop his ass and just make him walk away. Just sadly, he just put his head down.
He was also in the Wolverine, right?
I think he was.
Yeah.
Silver Samurai, yeah. The not with the comic,
right.
fit, of course.
A version
of Silver Samurai, more like gray swordsman rather than Silver Samurai. But live action X-Men, what are you gonna do? Speaking of live action X-Men, are you in the camp of hating the new Wolverine suit?
No, I think it's great. I like it.
Yeah, I know obviously there's always going to be people who are like, I was like, it's obviously not a 1-to-1 of the comic, but we waited years to see the yellow suit, and he's wearing a yellow suit, and it's just literally just the trailer. Who knows if he's going to have the cowl on at some point? But I mean, they
I think it
probably most likely will. So I feel like overreacting to just the trailers pretty stupid.
I actually really like his long sleeves. Way more than his arms exposed.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind either. I thought they did a really good job with the design. Much better than in my opinion past Wolverine live action stuff. I like what they're doing. Generally, I trust Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds obviously has got some pull over there. You know, they're letting him do his thing because they out Marvel obviously very badly needs a hit at the box office, and they obviously know people love Ryan Reynolds. His Deadpool movies have all made big money, so they're like, you know what, let him cook.
It's about to be the highest grossing R-rated film of all time.
Yeah,
I'd say and I'm saying that in an era where nobody goes to the movies anymore,
myself included.
Yeah, like everything's down. Like it's not just like certain movies. Like most movies are down. Like it's not common to have those Barbie numbers. You know, like that was like a what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You'll have a movie kind of like hit it big. Usually, it's like kind of becomes like a big cultural thing, so it takes off. You know, like the Mario movie. You know, Barbie Heimer. Though Dune Part 2 did really well, but in general, like it's something big. It's something big. Something like usually something with an established fan base. You know, movies, and it's partially with the stuff that's being put out. Like studios aren't taking those risks anymore on those smaller projects, but
Anomaly.
But you occasionally have ones that do, and they tend to get rewarded. But yeah, the days of just like any old movie just being a generic blockbuster and hitting 900 billion is long gone. Like even Fast and the Furious couldn't like wrangle in.
And I think that's what I love the most about X-Men 97 is X-Men 97 is a pure comic book show. Like
100%.
it is pure to the characters. Like it's sure a little thing or here or there might change, but like for the most part, they are purely locked in on who these characters are and who they're supposed to be, and the fans are responding in kind because like that's all we've ever asked for is to respect the source material, respect these characters because we love them for a reason, and the reason isn't some random director and writer team that you pull in because they've made other cool artsy fartsy stuff and that's done well in cons, all right, and just say, oh, here, make a Marvel movie, and then they like just that's how you end up with She-Hulk.
Yeah, Jay just really hates women. So
yeah, I mean, I was obviously the leader of that brigade,
100%. I for one biggest She-Hulk fan. Love mommy She-Hulk.
But no, I mean but look at the Netflix stuff. Like people, those were like true to the roots of the character. They were dark, they were gritty, they were street level. Like you weren't using the big sound stage. They were out there on the streets. I understand we went through that COVID stretch, but
and people responded well, except for Iron Fist, but everything else.
Yeah. I mean, Iron Fist is really. I think Iron Fist is a little misunderstood, but it obviously was the weakest of the group by a lot.
For sure.
But like that's what people want, and like it felt like Marvel was starting to understand that. So we'll see.
Yeah. It feels like we'll have to see now because the downside to X-Men 97 is of course that they fired the creator and they still haven't disclosed why exactly. So
yeah.
like we know Marvel has rehired people before after firing them publicly. But this one, yeah, we don't know what's happening here. But at least we know he finished season 2 before they fired him.
Well, that's good. And I don't know how much just he put into it. You know what I mean? I'm sure obviously he has a big impact, but you know, I'm very much excited for where we can go if we just follow that blueprint. You know, I'll tell you this: I've heard that Deadpool is doing reshoots, and their reshoots are to get more cameos in.
I get more cameos. I did hear though that one of the cameos that they specifically got rid of was She-Hulk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. I heard they're supposed to have a She-Hulk cameo even in the trailer, and it got cut, just all of it, and Tatiana Maslany not happy about it. Like, so who knows? But I'm expecting tons of cameos. Yeah, it's when it comes to Disney, in general, you can expect they're going to usually learn the wrong lessons from things, but at least we're seeing some evidence that they're at least recognizing what we're doing isn't working. Like, you know, them, of course, hiring a more established writer for Thunderbolts, completely hitting the reset button on Daredevil Born Again, and getting a new creative team on, bringing back everyone they could find from the Netflix stuff. So in the past they would just make it and just try to tell people, oh, if you don't like it, you're bad, you're a bad person or whatever. But now they're like, let's have some oversight here. Let's pump the brakes on some stuff. Let's try to get some quality going again.
Yeah, well, I mean, then we saw the casting for Fantastic Four, which was a little, it was okay.
Yeah, it's fine. The cast didn't blow me away, but the Silver Surfer casting was definitely confusing. But and not even that they went with the female version. We all knew they were the specific actor that they chose. I cannot unsee her in the Ozarks. So like that's so that was just such a weird choice to me. I'm definitely willing to look at the trailer, see how good it is, but yeah, that one might be a dud, but I feel like Deadpool and Wolverine is definitely going to be a hit. If they don't fuck with what DeMille did, season 2 of X-Men 97 should be big. So I'd love to also see them bring back Spider-Man, give Spider-Man the same treatment. Yeah.
What do you make of these rumors that they're gonna make that Raimi's gonna make another Spider-Man? Like,
I know he wants to,
like with Toby.
Yeah, I don't know how interested Toby is, but I would definitely. Obviously, it's better than Madam Web and Kraven the Hunter.
I have a really stupid question. Did Madam Web come out yet?
What, in like digital, like
in the theaters?
Oh, it's been out for like months.
Oh, well,
yeah, I saw it. I believe I talked about it, how terrible it was on this podcast.
Carry on.
Yeah, Kraven's not out yet though. Venom 3 is coming out later. Yeah, they could definitely use Spider-Man 4 right about now.
Well, listen, I mean, they filmed some of Madam Web in my city, so like, I don't know. I kind of want to watch it to see if I can recognize anything. By the way, this week, like literally right now, they're filming The Walking Dead in downtown Worcester. Ooh. Like everybody's talking about that.
I'm so behind on The Walking Dead. I didn't even.
It's the new show with Michonne and Joel.
Yeah, I legit. At a certain point, I just was like, "Yeah, I'm just tapping out."
I never really watched it, but like, I'm tempted to drive down there and just like take some pictures.
I watched I watched it almost religiously. I watched the spinoff shows, and then eventually I just like once it felt like the main show was kind of coming to like a logical end. You know, they added more spinoffs. I was like, yeah, I'm checking out because I felt like at a certain point I was watching The Walking Dead just because of all the time that I've invested in The Walking Dead. It's like, apart from a couple of seasons, like it never hit quite like those first 3 seasons. Like they were masterpieces, those first 3 seasons, and then it just steadily started going kind of downhill. And nothing. I don't think anything as bad as like how Game of Thrones got, but and this is kind of like, yeah, okay. There's just nothing like was just not really doing it for me. And obviously I have a lot of stuff to watch, so I ended up just falling off on it. But maybe at some point I'll go back to The Walking Dead just for the like kind of the mainline stuff, because the Fear the Walking Dead, yeah, I can't get down with that.
It's kind of mind-blowing to me that kind of like Game of Thrones, there was never really a good Walking Dead game. Like there were the Telltale games, but I don't really count those. Like it's crazy to me. There was not like there were Walking Dead games, certainly more than Game of Thrones, but like nothing like
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how that happens. Like you'll have these giant IPs, and for whatever reason, they never like expand into like AAA gaming. And I guess that can just be like, because I feel like you would think at least one studio would think, oh, let's like make an honest attempt to license this. And I get maybe that's part of it. Like I feel like Skybound would be more reasonable than Disney, but I think that even though they want established gaming companies want to establish IPs, in AAA they're playing it, they want to play it safe. Part of the reason that EA is getting out of the Star Wars business is because they would rather play it safe, but also not have to pay any licensing fees or royalties. So I feel like even though a well-made Walking Dead game could be massive, I mean, we saw how well the Day Before did, even though that wasn't even a real game. Like there's a big hole in the market for like kind of a survivalist zombie apocalypse type of experience,
right?
And anytime like something remotely promising comes out, fans will just flock to it. Like a really well made. It didn't have to be AAA. Like a well made AA zombie game in the Walking Dead universe could be great. Like one of the only reasons I'm even interested in Xbox is the possibility of a State of Decay 3. So,
well, yeah, I feel like something like State of Decay is like right in the wheelhouse of what they could do. Like
that's basically like Walking Dead. Like if you just set it in like the new Terminator game that's coming out, like that sounds like someone could have literally done that with The Walking Dead and it would have printed money. Like this particular one is a first-person shooter. It's got offline, it's got co-op, and it's an open world, post-apocalyptic game, but it's set in the Terminator universe. It's going to be, story-driven. Like that could be interesting. It doesn't even have to be like a multiplayer survival game, but that would be, a perfect, situation to plop the Walking Dead franchise and, create your own survivor, interact with with some of the characters from the show, maybe, or just they can do so much with that concept. And I just feel like a lot of IPs just get wasted because studios don't want to take that risk, and the studios, I feel like they do, maybe don't necessarily have the resources to make that happen with between the licensing fees and everything. So it's unfortunate, but some doing it. We just found out that where Hasbro is getting into the AAA gaming business, and they're looking to make a Snake Eyes game.
I feel
AAA.
like they announced that a while ago.
Yeah, this came out. Yeah, people start picking up recently. They in the last week about that Snake Eyes game. They specifically because they mentioned that they wanted to make it kind of like Arkham Asylum in terms of that quality. So I'm like, I'm
all in.
I'm intrigued. Speaking of Arkham, your favorite superhero got another game, Jayshockblast. Not Batman Ninja, sadly, not this time, but another Arkham VR game, like a second Batman VR game. The first one, of course, coming in 2016, and you can imagine how mixed the reaction was when people first saw the new Arkham game trailer, then saw it was VR. Like,
I mean, we all have that reaction. Like, I don't think, but like,
I didn't have that reaction for the record.
But like, what? I didn't either. But like I want to play the game because it's a Batman Arkham game, like everybody else. But I don't like VR, and I'm not going to get a Quest 3 just to play this, especially when I know I won't play anything else. So it comes down to, look, not everything's going to be for you, and that's the thing. Like, that drives me nuts about Arkham fans is they believe that anything that says Batman Arkham or involves the Arkhamverse has to be for them. And I feel like there's a lot of people getting mad about this that also will be the first ones to say, well, if you want to play Spider-Man, get a PlayStation.
That's it.
Well, if you want to play Arkham Shadow, get a Quest 3.
There you go. Get yourself that Quest 3.
I mean,
same price as a PS5.
Yeah, let's be real though, okay? Like, well, I actually don't disagree with this. This is I think the more shocking part, but I think it goes hand in hand with the fact that PlayStation VR 2 is a massive failure. And I don't blame WB for going with Quest over PlayStation VR, sure. Because I know, like, doing some research, that the Quest outsold PlayStation VR over the holiday period 30-1.
Yep,
on Amazon.
Checks out. Also, Camouflage is developing it, and they have a very good track record from Iron Man VR.
Yeah, so like you can't really be upset. Like, this isn't like they took a team at Rocksteady and said, "Hey, go make this VR game." You know, it doesn't matter. Like, the game is probably not going to be super long. You're not going to be missing anything. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. Yeah,
and even if it's not, you know, because it's because we found out it looks like Roger Craig Smith is going to be voicing once again. So this might take place, you know, after Origins. So even then, just get a Quest 3.
Yeah, I don't know when it's going to take place, but I feel like it might actually be after Arkham, because I thought I read something about Batman's alive, you know, which we know because he's in Suicide Squad.
Well, where he gets shot in the head.
Well, did he?
Well, that version of him got shot in the head.
Yeah. So I mean, I just think, like, it's a little disingenuous for people to get upset, because, like, there's always those people that are like, you know, oh, you want to play Spider-Man, just get a PlayStation, you know? And I know that those are the same people that are upset that they have to get a Quest to play this Batman game.
I can legitimately say the only reason I was excited when I saw this trailer had been dropped was because I was like, oh, I've got content to make for the first day of May.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. One of my old roommates actually works for Quest. I went to college with him, and I don't want to, like, bother him. I don't want to, like.
You should bother him.
Yeah. Well, I kind of made a joke on his page because he posted something about it on Facebook, and my buddy Tim responded to it. Like, I feel like he's closer with Tim than he is me. So I was kind of trying to like build off it because when Batman VR came out, I borrowed. It's between Origins and Asylum. Okay. I borrowed his PlayStation VR and his copy of Arkham VR, and I recorded some video for it, and then brought it back to him the next day, and then apparently he brought it back the next week. So yeah, so I was like, oh, we could do like we did last time. Why don't you go ahead and upgrade your Quest 2 to a 3? I'll borrow it for a day or two and record the game and then give it back to you. Just to see if my buddy Jake would, because obviously Jake knows what I do, but he didn't bite, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
Boom.
That was like my soft pitch.
Rejected.
Yeah.
Bad luck.
I mean, I don't know what he does for Quest, but I know he travels a lot. So
yeah, I think I might get the Quest 3. My buddy wants me to get a Quest 3. He wants me to upgrade because he wants us all to hang out in like the chat room, whatever they have, social rooms. And I'm like, oh, well, I can. So I have an excuse to use it. You know, I have people that want to hang out in the VR with me, so I have kind of reason to do it. And I have the Quest 2, and I want like something with better quality, and I get to play potentially a cool our game. But my thing was like, for fuck's sake, please announce another game that's not Batman related.
Yeah,
please. Like we're on the second Arkham VR game, and we still don't have a Superman game.
Yeah,
or Flash or Green Lantern. We haven't even got a new trailer for the Wonder Woman game, and they announced that back in 2021. And we got another fucking Batman game coming out this year. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I really don't know either. You know, I mean, we'll see what Montreal's working on. I don't know.
I gotta check and see if they finally got a creative director at least, but hopefully they announced that as summer game, like something else, bro. Come on, Marvel is cooking DC right now on the game front, and they don't need to be, because WB they own the IP. Like, Marvel's at a disadvantage because they have to license it out to other studios, and they are very demanding when it comes to that licensing stuff. And DC could be doing the same thing, and they also have their own studios to make. Like, what are we waiting for?
I also think part of the problem though is like gaming is really down right now. Like, in general, like everything is down, and I feel like gamers are kind of like tearing everything apart. You know,
I mean,
like,
I feel like that's like an online thing. Like, the gaming industry itself is still printing money. And
I heard, but I wish I saved the article, but like I saw something the other day that like hardware sales are massively down, and like software sales are down as well.
see the problem is with these people often don't do is that they don't look at the numbers in context. And the problem is that, particularly with the with console sales have basically hit a ceiling. Like, it's not so many people have consoles, so many people have gaming platforms. There's only going to be so much growth. Like, the only ones that are really having a hard time sales wise for their hardware is Xbox. But people keep forgetting that gaming had a lot of industries had unnatural boom thanks to the pandemic. Like, a lot of sales went up by a lot. That triggered more aggressive investment and everything like that. And then when that COVID induced bot boom went away, then it's like well, fuck. So I'll see stuff like someone will like, they had this huge they just had a record year, and then this next year they dropped by 50% or whatever. Like no, they fucking didn't. They had a unnaturally high amount of growth amped by COVID.
Yeah.
And then they went down to more reasonable levels based on the current market. Like people bought way more game related stuff throughout the pandemic because they were forced to get home. This is why part of the reason why we're seeing so many layoffs, because these studios were like, oh well, everybody's in the game, and like we got all this money coming in, everyone's buying games, everyone's buying hardware and software. All right, let's expand. Let's get those shareholders happy. And then when all that investment starts drying up, it's like, well, we gotta we gotta pare it back a little bit. Like gaming, still, like overall, gaming industry still makes an obscene amount of money. The one downside is that AAA gaming is seeing some issues because they're being stupid. like Immortals of Avian is the perfect example. There's absolutely no reason that should have been a $100 million game. like that's insane that you would give a new studio over $100 million for brand new IP. For like that's silly. Like you could that's why you're seeing some of the doom and gloom stuff, because they'll look at examples of AAA games that reach and make bad decisions and then crash and burn, and they're like, oh, gaming is no, it's not. Like because you're gonna have your Power Worlds, you're gonna have your Helldivers, you're gonna have your heavy hitters like your Spider-Mans. The game, you're still gonna have big studios that deliver, and you still have insane sales from your live service stuff. Like microtransactions are still king. So it's like the gloom and doom gaming stuff is overstated, but it's more so with some aspects of AAA gaming. But even then, that's offset by the boom in the indie and AA market. So it's just like, gaming's fine.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I don't think I do understand what you're saying about the COVID drop off, but I think we're like on like year 3 of that. So I don't know that it's 100% apples to apples, but I understand what you're saying. But I feel like there is whatever I was reading, and I should have saved it. It's my bad. I think there was a little bit more nuance to what they were saying.
I would imagine there was, and I'm sure if we had the article, I would pick it apart.
I'm sure
and dunk on the journalist. But,
yeah,
but next time. But in my opinion, the AAA gaming has some stuff to sort out, but it's mostly self-inflicted. Like studios being bigger than necessary, making really stupid decisions. But the AA market is growing to compensate, and the indie market are growing to compensate it.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna be a little controversial.
Oh, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I think work from home, and I say this with like zero proof or anything to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
I say this just from my own perspective of having worked from home.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like work from home is not as productive and has hurt the industry more than it's helped. Like I'm sure that like people that are working from home enjoy it more, and I'm sure that they feel better and are in a better mind space, but I don't feel like they're going to be as productive.
So we actually have some like concrete things we can point to that, I mean, there are definitely some jobs that you don't need to be in the office for. Like it has value. Like if you work in HR or you work in comms, you don't really need to just be in the office all the time. That's largely unnecessary. But yeah, we do know, especially I remember specifically talking to some devs that were working on Marvel's Avengers, and this was like 2020. The pandemic is kicking off. Everyone's trying to scramble to do work from home stuff, and they were explaining some of the challenges involved with working from home. And it's the lack of access to studio resources, internet. It was like everything takes so much longer because I'm not on the studio internet. I can't just easily go and talk to this person and get this thing. Like it definitely made things less productive. But that's also not to say that in person is going to necessarily translate to production either, because that's partially an issue with AAA gaming. Like everything is too bloated. They have too much staff. There's too much bureaucracy involved. Like I was listening to this one game developer describing how he just needed kind of this simple line of code, like relatively simple line of code. Like something was off with the enemy AI, and he said, I need somebody to do this do this code. This is my problem. Boom, boom, boom. When can I get that? When can we get that back? And they told him, 4 weeks. And he was like, wait, why? Like, it's going to take 4 weeks. He was like, walk me through why. Like, because I can do this if I can need be, I can do this myself in 45 minutes and just give it back to you. And they're like, well, no, you got to go through this because you got to have people support your code. It's not, it has to. And then he's like, and he walks them through like the code. He's like this is the code. This is what I need. Why would this take 4 weeks? And they're like, and they come back and tell him, okay, how about 2? It's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Like it's a lot. I think it's just a lot of general bloat at these studios. They have, obviously have some people who don't belong there, and then you have people who are just their job is just to micromanage, and you have all these new departments, and everyone's got to check. You guys like, oh well, we got to hire this consultant. We got to go run this through the DEI office. We got to make sure we get everyone involved. And it's like, bro, like games used to be, and this is why we're seeing this more interesting stuff coming from the Indian AA market, because it's usually like, okay, you got a small team, they're close knit, they got some cool ideas, and they're like, let's make something cool. They don't have investors to worry about. They're not worried about HR. They're not running through all these their code through all these committees. They're just like, let's just hang out and make this cool game and see what happens. And I think that's, work from home could have some delays, but I think in general, like the AAA ecosystem has gotten a bit too big.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to wish 2 hours of commute time on anyone, trust me, but I do feel like from my observations, having been at studios and just seeing the way everybody's able to interact and work together,
for sure,
there is something to be said about that. And I think about like my last few months working for Bose, I decided, you know what, like, these guys are fucking me over. We have a work from home program. I'm going home. I want to work from home. And I did my job at about 80% of what I was doing in the office. And I had no shame about it. Like I every single time a call ended, I went in what we called after call, which meant I would not take another call. And they want your after call to be less than 30 seconds between calls. I mean, mine notoriously was always less than 10 seconds. But like the max before like it's a problem was usually a minute. And I took mine as close to a minute as I could.
Like 57 seconds.
Yeah. I would like, and I would do it by like taking like 4 or 5 calls in a row with no after call. And then like on the 5th call, I would just take like 5 minutes. I would just take like a 5-minute break. And that's how it happens.
Working the system.
Yep.
And now look at you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was different then though. But I know a lot of people do that. Like I know a lot of people that would do that in the office because I would be monitoring it. But
when you're home and you're surrounded by even more distractions. It's
yeah, for sure. And I know I was not working as hard from home. Even though, and it was great. Like I didn't even have like a massive commute. It was like, it was basically saving me about an hour a day,
right.
But it was great.
My last retail job, I had an hour and a half commute both ways. So
yeah, I remember you saying that.
Very much happy to not have to do any of that shit.
Yeah, but there's definitely like I did not have to be in an office like to answer phone calls, but I would have taken it more seriously if they weren't already laying me off.
For sure. Yeah, so. That's probably also contributed to that. When you know things are, when you know the ship is sinking or you're on the way out, you're just like, who cares? When I knew it was clear that they're shutting this whole thing down, I was like, all right, time to take it easy.
Yeah, not much else you can do.
Yeah, for sure. So I understand, but there are multiple. Yeah, there are definitely multiple facets to what the problem is at some of these studios, and I'm sure there will be several developers who will yell at you for suggesting work from home is an issue, but but literally was told by developers, how challenging it could be.
I heard the same thing about Avengers too. Like whenever they made a change, it like had to get uploaded to the server, and they had to like it was just a nightmare. It sounded like.
Yeah, so I don't know, and notoriously GTA with the GTA 6 project, Rockstar had people come in mandatory because they said productivity, but I think part of that is that they wanted to do some layoffs, and this was a way for them to do layoffs without announcing layoffs because they knew there was some people who wouldn't be able to do the mandatory commute, so they would just have to solve that layoff themselves. Like, well, we're not saying you're laid off, but if you can't come to the office, it's mandatory. Sorry. And then of course Take-Two ended up doing company-wide layoffs anyway.
Yeah.
right after that, shut some stuff down. So yeah, it's unfortunately part of business. We're probably going to have. I would imagine by the end of 2024, we probably hit 20,000 layoffs probably across the industry.
Yeah. What's gonna be the worst is if like some of the people are like people that like got a job after being laid off and then got laid off again.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a carousel. Like Thomas from Insomniac, he was one of the community managers working with Aaron. He got laid off during that round of Sony layoffs where they mandated that several of their studios, specifically Insomniac, their most profitable studio, lay off about 10%. He was part of the 10%. He ended up landing right at Sucker Punch.
Oh, well, that's odd. But yeah, there you
go. We went from one PlayStation studio to another one. So yeah, the industry literally is like there'll be tons of layoffs, but they're always going to be hiring new people.
Yeah,
they always need because the machine has to keep churning. So you're just it's unfortunate that a lot of game devs are worried about the stability part of it because they don't have the union protection. They're kind of at the mercy of these companies where it's like, oh well, this project is just went under. like Mars Avian, they basically laid off their whole studio after that game flopped. They laid off 45%, and then they furloughed the rest, which is just a fancy way of saying you're not fired, but you don't have a job because we don't have money. So
I think that should be illegal.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty. Yeah. Furlough is just a incredibly shitty term. Like you either lay them off or you don't. You don't say, well, you technically aren't laid off. Oh, so you're paying me? No, we're not doing that. So I'm not working, but I'm not fired. Yeah, that's pretty much. You're not getting paid. Yeah, so that's a shitty situation. Unfortunately, I think part of that is to avoid severance, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they were like, well, you're not fired, so if you want to quit, by all means, but we're not giving you money, so it's like, it's just a shitty situation. But yeah, a lot of them end up fortunately landing back on their feet because another studio gets spun up, another studio has some new projects. It's always a thing. And I think the more talented you are, the less you have to necessarily worry about this, but there's just always the uncertainty, and no matter how good you are, there's nothing you can do about a project just tanking, or just they're like, all right, well, time to go.
Yeah, I don't know. Immortals is a good game, but like launching an IP is tough, and there's not like a lot of like evergreen income on a game like that,
Yeah, no microtransactions. They didn't Ubisoft it, but there was like no multiplayer. It's just like this original IP single player first person game.
It was cool, but
it looked cool. Well, this like, yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't understand why it had to cost so much. Hey, just make a nice AA game, and don't worry about anything. Just make the coolest AA game you can make, and then if it hits, spin it off into something more, expand on it. Power World, famously had like a $6 million budget, 50 people working on it, and they're like, "Oh, we got a massive hit. Well, guess we can expand." Like,
I don't know how they made it for $6 million with 50 people.
I know they got one dev off YouTube. They could also, and yeah, but the figure I did here was 6 million, and it's not like this was like God of War level production values here.
Yeah, but still, like even just salary alone,
for sure. Yeah, is one. Yeah, it's possible. I wonder if they had any outside funding, but who knows what they're paying. I'm not sure what they're paying, but yeah, I was reading an article from the head of the studio, and he was mentioning, it was around $6 million, and they had about 50 people, and it's like, oh, well, there you go. It's a miracle. I guess I can kind of buy it because the technology, the one thing is the salaries, like, is one thing. Maybe I'm assuming they're not making like what a dev at a AAA studio in California would be making. But
where are they based out of?
Isn't that a Japanese studio?
Maybe. I mean, if that's the case, then yeah. Like, I mean, 6 million just split 50 ways is 120K, and that's if that 6 million was just pure payroll, but which obviously we know it wasn't. So, I mean, I can imagine devs at that studio making like 70.
Yeah, Pocket Pair is like is a Japanese studio.
Yeah. Plus, I've been having a lot of stuff pop up in my Facebook feed about like living in Japan and like the cost of living, and apparently it's actually pretty low, and they're like a minimalist kind of society.
Very much so, and also we gotta remember that technology for game development has leapt like exponentially. Like it's a lot easier, especially if you're using Unreal Engine. That whole ecosystem, it's it's far easier than it used to be to make a quality game just using like those pre-built assets. If you wanted to go that route,
which I believe they did.
oh yeah. Yeah, they did. Like, famously, the day before took that to the absolute extreme. But yeah, I was watching a video of this guy who tried to make his own game, and he walked through the process. He used Unreal Engine, and obviously it was hard because he literally never did it before, and he was relying on tutorials. But he was still able to make something passable, in a couple of weeks. And I'm just like, all right, because the technology has gotten far, and is going to get even crazier with AI. So yeah, the barrier to entry for games is going to make it so that we're going to see even more indie and AA studios popping up and being able to increase their production value, because as the technology grows, then it's like, okay, well, we don't need $90 million in order to make a really cool looking game. We can keep this to less than 50 people, like the No Man's Sky team famously. They had some problems, but eventually they made it work. And I think their studio only even got up to like 40 people recently, and they're working on their next big game. So it's a different time. Like you can make games that people love without spending $300 million.
Yeah,
it's advisable if you don't. Like,
right.
I'm curious if how much I'm very curious how much Suicide Squad spent. I'm really curious about what those numbers are.
I mean, we're talking about like years of salary just off that.
You're talking about,
I mean, I'm sure they spent like probably at least 100 million just on salary.
100%, like at least, because this is a AAA game. It's multiplayer. It's very high production value in terms of graphics, and it was in development for 7 years.
Did they even put out new suits this week? I didn't even bother checking.
I didn't either. Keep it. I've not turned on a game literally all week.
Yeah, I'm done with the battle pass, so like I'm not as like pressed to get in there.
I'm still not done with the battle pass.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of waiting for the next season to start.
I checked out. Yeah,
which is next week, or
they didn't give a release date yet, but they did drop a blog update talking about, they've been, kudos to them. They've been doing a little bit of that marketing, as the kids like to say. And they just announced today's blog, they're adding a new mission type and a new enemy type coming in episode 2 to add into the rotation. Out of orbit is what they call it, the new mission type, and the new enemy is going to be this alien that will target another Brainiac's forces and try to evolve them into either a bomber or a destroyer. And they're going to be immune while doing it. So you have to target whoever they're targeting. Just another thing to keep in mind on the battlefield potentially. But they're learning. And on Twitter, they've also been like, kind of teasing new gear, saying, "Hey, we got this Black Manta thing, that's coming in the new series." But it's like, yeah, I don't believe they've done anything new, because I feel like if they did have something new cosmetic wise, they would have tweeted about that, because they tweeted about the Easter stuff. So
yeah, I just don't understand. Like it's so easy. Like they've already shown with I mean, I feel like I'm going to say the same thing I said last week, but they've already shown with the Justice League suits and the Gentleman Ghost suits that they can make suits based on characters. So we're doing these seasons based on characters.
Yeah.
Make suits based on those characters. Like, I don't know how you would do a Dr. Minoru one, but like you could do Scarecrow suits. Like,
Bane.
imagine just doing Scarecrow suits.
Or Black Manta or Bane.
Or Joker or Black Manta or Two-Face. Like, imagine a Two-Face suit for Joker, you know, where like half his face is you know, real. I mean, it's crazy to me that we're not doing this, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the Black Manta weapons look great. Like, visually stunning.
Right.
Love them. Trick says they're probably not going to be good for anyone other than Deadshot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is not a problem for me. But
yeah, literally nothing new in the shop. I'll check it. I just check it.
yeah, and that's mind-blowing to me. That's 2 weeks in a row where there's no update to the shop whatsoever. Like, nothing new.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
And that's coming a week after dropping Gentleman Ghost. So in the last 3 weeks, the only thing that's been new has been the Gentleman Ghost skins. Like, what are we doing? I don't.
Not making money.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't want to fight for this. You know what I mean? Like, I do love the game. I enjoy the game.
Sure.
I want the game to succeed.
Sure.
But how do I support this? You know, you're giving me not like, at least Avengers had like a one new skin a week, where it was like, oh look, we're getting Thor Ragnarok skin this week, so I guess we'll you know, be able to feature that. You know, I don't know, man.
I think the only explanation is that they legitimately just didn't make that many suits.
Which is baffling.
Insane.
It's insane. Like, that's literally their lifeblood.
I literally think they just was like, yeah, we saved that for the end, and we don't have time. We got to get this shit out. We don't have that many suits, so we gotta spread it out.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no obviously this was not very well planned, because everyone knows you're making a live service game where you're releasing free DLC. The cosmetics are everything, but yeah.
I did see something about that. I've met Maximilian a few times. He's a good guy. I really like him.
Shout out to Maximilian.
I know his, like, one of the Yo video games dudes, Unruly, a little bit more. I've met him more times, and but I mean, you know, if Max saw me in person, you know who I am. That's kind of cool.
Everyone would know who you are. You're Jayshockblast.
Well, we'll find out in about 5 weeks.
Yeah, Summer Game Fest. Jay will get to see the Batman Arkham VR in person.
They do this thing called Play Days for 3 days after Summer Game Fest, and I got invited to something else that is a bucket list situation for me.
Ooh.
So that Sunday I am going to another event instead of Play Days, and let me just tell you, I am very excited.
I mean, it's not every day that you get to go to an OnlyFans convention, so
you know,
I can understand.
I don't know if I told the story before here, but when I went to Lego DC Supervillains, the hotel, and actually if Lejeune's still here, I might have brought this up to him. You couldn't see it from the hotel we stayed at for Suicide Squad, but I stayed in a different hotel in the same block for Lego DC Supervillains, and out my window I could see Vivid Entertainment. I probably have a picture of it, actually, and you could, and keep it
YouTube friendly.
Yeah, you can't, like, you just see the logo basically, but it's funny because it's just one of those things where I wasn't sure if that's what it was, so I pulled out the Maps app on my phone and confirmed that that's what that was.
You speak the truth, Mega. I would absolutely love for some new Gotham Knight. I would legitimately be much more interested in Gotham Knights DLC than Suicide Squad. I feel like WB abandoned Gotham Knights too early. I feel like they should have stuck to their guns and had a whole post-launch rollout with like a paid season pass and drop some new content. I'll be always down to hop on Gotham Knights.
All right, where are we at?
It's down the window, Jay. Looks sticky.
Yep. But there you go.
It looks just as shady as I would expect.
Yep. I just, looked out. That was the view from my hotel room. And I feel like we have talked about this before, but I saw it, and I think there was an In-N-Out somewhere over here.
That's appropriate.
Because, when you go to these events, that's one of the first things you start looking for is where's the food at.
Right next to the porn.
Yeah. So, and the funny thing is that on the other side, if I turned around, I wouldn't have a window there, but you're basically looking at Universal. So it's literally right by Universal LA. So
I feel like that says a lot about LA, California.
Yeah.
In general, that seems fitting somehow.
Yeah, but it was pretty funny.
So you didn't. So how long did it take for you to ask for a tour?
Dude, I was not walking there. It's on this big ass hill. I was not walking up that hill. Screw that. I am way too lazy. I'm sorry. There was 6 lights you had to go through. That whole spot, I couldn't drive that. I'm already kind of debating what we're gonna do, what I'm gonna do when I fly out there, because last year when I flew in, I had to go from I had to go from LAX to my hotel, and then I had to go from my hotel to the YouTube theater, which is basically near LAX. And the drive, there's a surcharge from LAX, and my Uber was $75
Jesus
to get from LAX to my hotel, and then it was another $45 to get from the hotel to the place and then back. So I was doing all the math and everything, and I'm like, you know what? I wish I could just rent a car. But I looked into it. It's not that bad. The problem is the hotel charged you, to park it.
Right.
So I'm like, that obviously defeats the purpose. It doesn't defeat the purpose, but it negates the savings.
Yeah.
But then I did some research. The hotel that I picked is across the street from where they did E3 and the Staples Center. And right next to it, maybe a block over, is a major rental car hub. So I think I'm just going to rent a car the day I land and then turn it in at the end of the day. I wish teleportation. And then turn it in. It's going to be I think I looked at it as $120, but it's still better than having to Uber back and forth. And I can just leave my bags in the car and not even go to the hotel right away and stay in that area. And maybe even stop by Disney or something. I don't know.
Yeah, say what's up to Bob. I'm sure Bob Iger. Big Bob.
Oh yeah. Well, no, what I should do is I should go to Burbank and see if I can find James Gunn again.
Oh yeah. You can ask him why they just announced another Arkham VR game.
Yeah. I'm trying. Well, he did say that they weren't done with Arkham.
He did.
And maybe that's what he meant.
Oh God, I hope not.
I honestly hope this is the last Arkham game, because that's what Arkham fans deserve.
100%.
So, I just kind of feel like you're not in a position to complain. Like, I understand Suicide Squad isn't for everybody, but like you literally bitched about every possible little thing about it and then decided not to get it. I wouldn't want to make another Batman game if all you did was bitch the whole time that it wasn't a Batman game. And then, Gotham Knights, you just bitched it wasn't a Batman game.
And
It's like,
then you bitched about Arkham Knight because it wasn't the Batman game you wanted, and then you bitched
yeah,
about Arkham Origins because it wasn't the Batman game you wanted.
you bitched about Arkham Knight, but in retrospect, now it's like the greatest game of all time.
It kind of feels like they just don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like we've done Batman. We don't need to keep doing Batman.
Yes, please. Anyone else?
I mean, there's
preferably not a looter shooter.
I'm gonna end my Batman rant there.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm summoning the Superman announcement. I'm manifesting.
I feel like I just want them to get a Superman game and just do it so that people can buy it and like just be done with it. Like I'm not personally super interested in a Superman game, but I think it could be cool too. So we'll see.
I believe my body is ready.
Yeah, can't wait for all the skins that we're gonna get.
I can't wait for all the. No one asked for this. I want to watch Superman's too strong. He didn't. This game's not going to be good, guys. That's going to be fun.
That was like the best Sael impersonation I ever heard.
No, he be complaining that Lois's tits aren't big enough.
Yeah. Notorious big tittied Lois Lane in her non-provocative blouse.
Yeah. Look, classic WB with her woke Superman game. Where is Lois Lane's hips? Why isn't she wearing a thong to work at the Daily Bugle?
Why is a Power Girl in this game?
Why isn't Wonder Woman naked?
She has the invisible jet.
I want to look up her dress. That is how you appeal to the gamers.
Why doesn't she have a camel toe? This isn't realistic graphics.
Woke lazy devs. That's literally 90% of this.
She should have pubes popping out.
Literally, they just want a hentai game. That's literally what they want. They literally just want a hentai game. Preferably with no black people in it.
You said that. I didn't even nod along.
They said it is true. Like, well, they if they had their way, every game would basically just be hentai optional.
Yeah.
And 100% white, except for the demon girls, who obviously be red or blue.
What else we got?
We covered everything. I know you didn't see Shogun.
No.
I finished it. It was a masterpiece.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I need to just get back into that.
It is great. I took my sweet ass time, for sure. I watched The Bear pretty fast. I just ran right through that. Loved The Bear. I took my time, marinated on each episode of Shogun, and definitely glad that I made it.
We have a final in Orlando.
We have a final.
There will be a game 7.
Fuck yeah! Thanks for spoiling.
Were you gonna watch it? Really?
I was gonna watch the highlights.
Well, I mean,
I was going to
$3.96.
I forgot to turn it on. Otherwise, I would have had it on. But yeah, I watched the game 7. Can we talk about how Katie has teamed up with some of the best players in the league and still? Kate, yeah, I tweeted this after they lost, he's going out sad. Like KD is just his decision making needs to be studied, because all he had to do was stay in Golden State. I understand he felt some type of way, and he was talking about it. You know, he had his issue with Draymond, but he didn't like how management tried to kind of sweep the whole thing under the rug. But from a basketball standpoint, he should have stayed in Golden State. And the Brooklyn thing was just an absolute disaster. I mean, he wanted to play with Kyrie, whatever, but then they wanted to handpick their coach. They already had a good thing going. They had a culture, they had an identity, they had assets, they had a good coach. And then they bring in KD and Kyrie, and they're like, all right, you fire the coach because, you know, we want Steve Nash. That's our guy. We got to bring him in. That's our guy. And we love DeAndre Jordan. You know, that's our buddy. So, you know, got to pay him, even though you have fucking Jared Allen on your roster already. No, we got to pay 32-year-old DeAndre Jordan $40 million because he's our friend. So we want to bring him along for the ride for one last big paycheck. And it's like, bruh, it was a circus. Like, and then they were like, this still is enough. So let's throw all our asses away to bring in James Harden. And then James Harden eventually gets tired of Kyrie's shit. It's like, and quits, just like he does on every team. And I was like, this could have all been avoided. All right. It was so obvious that the Suns experiment was going to implode, because I'm like, have you not learned that the Heatles, even though they got 2 rings out of it, they got really lucky to get those 2 rings out of it. Like, their first year, they lost to Dirk. Like, they lost to a team with a homegrown star that was well balanced and fit their star's play style and was well coached, and they won. And they got very lucky beating the Spurs a couple of times, but really the 3 superstars and then filling out the rest of the roster with minimums isn't the way to go, and historically has more often than not failed. Like, the reason why it worked with the Heatles is because you had LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. I mean, two of the greatest players ever, and one of the best modern big men who completely changed his game to fit a whole new play style. And they also happen to have, you know, one of the best coaches of all time, you know, on the roster too. So it all broke, and they still only won twice.
Not 1, not 2, not 3.
Yeah, that didn't age well. That didn't age well. So it's like when Katie was like, well, I could do the same thing with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. Like, no, like, that's not no.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. We're going to fill out the roster with Yusuf Nurkic and Bol and Josh Okogie.
Yeah, I always would like. I would always get like a little jealous that, like, whenever the veterans got cut and they were going to be the minimum, you know, signings somewhere else, no one ever wanted to come to Boston. But, like, you know, Brad Stevens won Executive of the Year. He constructed this roster like to work together a certain way. You know, like, I remember being a little disappointed we didn't get Lillard. I remember being a little disappointed we didn't get Bradley Beal, who's like Jason Tatum's like best buddy. But in the end, like, his vision made a lot of sense. And, like, if you look at the guys we bring in off the bench, like, we're bringing in Peyton Pritchard, who made a huge leap this year. We're bringing in, like, Hauser, who, you know, I know you didn't even know who he was a few months ago.
He's got a burner.
We're bringing in like Cornette. We're bringing in the remnants of Al Horford. We're not bringing in like these big, star guys. We're bringing in like guys that they've developed, and yeah, they grabbed Tillman at the end and they grabbed Springer at the end of the year, but like they haven't really done much for us. Like even Brissett didn't do a ton for us this year.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, man. Like something about this roster, like that was always what worried me. But like when Hauser and Pritchard come in and Horford, like our 8 is great.
Bars.
I'm sorry.
Bars.
They really are though. Like because Hauser's been like one of the best 3-point shooters in the league.
For
Pritchard. Sure. Pritchard last season versus this season is such a difference. And did you notice how much him and Tyler Hero absolutely fucking hate each other?
I did not.
They hate each other. Like Hero got a technical for like throwing the ball at him.
That's what a random beef.
I know. I noticed it throughout the series that they just hated each other. Like there's something there. So I don't know.
Speaking of throwing balls, you see Patrick Beverly have a fucking melt.
You hear what happened today? ESPN banned him.
They banned him?
Yeah, he's no longer allowed on ESPN programming. And what he said after, what happened after. He got in a beef with a female reporter from ESPN.
That was fucking hilarious. Yeah, but yeah, it was bad that he threw the ball at the fan.
Yeah, that was stupid.
But the report, he was sitting there. The reporter was in his face. He was like, "Are you subscribed to my podcast?" Nope. Mm-hmm. All right, you can't. You have to move.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That whole thing seemed kind of stupid. But my thoughts on the NFL draft. I mean, I think your Atlanta Falcons. I do not know what they were doing drafting a quarterback. That's crazy. I'm okay with what the Patriots did. We'll see. I love the NFL. I love drafts. I just love watching the draft. I'm just a total nerd. I'll watch the baseball draft. Like,
yeah, I won't go that far.
I just freaking love it. But I love the NFL draft. I love watching the NBA draft. I love watching, the NHL draft. Just,
I only watch basketball.
I mean, basketball's a good night. Somehow the Celtics have a pick this year.
Ball is life. I mean, I'm guessing it's probably remnants of the Ainge era.
No, I think it's their pick. You know what I really want to see them do? I really want to see them draft Bronny and then just bury him in the G League.
that would be the ultimate troll.
Yeah, that's all I want in life. Or to see if his old man is legit. They draft Bronny, tell him he can have like the 15th spot on the roster, and see if old man LeBron comes in on a vet minimum.
That would be funny. I don't know.
I mean, that would be the ultimate ring chase right there.
Yeah, I honestly think LeBron was mostly bullshitting about that. But
yeah,
I think he was just trying to strong arm the Lakers into doing it. I think he fully intends to stay in LA. He's just trying to assert his dominance over the franchise. It looks like he's trying to angle to get JJ Redick as the coach as well.
How many more coaches is he going to get fired? If I was JJ Redick, I would not go anywhere near LeBron James.
Yeah, I was curious about it, but I started hearing talk, and they have that podcast, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then I heard that JJ is actually interviewing for like coaching,
for like the coaching. Hornets.
And so I'm like, oh, so he's legit interested in coaching, and he's got a podcast with LeBron where they're gushing about how much they love each other's basketball minds and doing X and O's. I'm like, huh. Darvin Ham is fired, so
yeah. How many more coaches is he going to get fired?
I mean, as many as it takes until they're not getting swept by the Nuggets, apparently.
Yeah. Well.
All right, my Google finally quit on me, but it's a good time as any to exit. Appreciate everyone hanging out once again. for the After Show podcast. We will catch you guys same time next week, unless Jay is late again.
I got here like it was definitely on my fault. I got here right at 8 though, so
I was here, but I wasn't in the room. I was setting up, but yeah. Well, we're gonna blame Jay regardless because his privilege. So appreciate y'all once again. I'm Sadot the Gamer.
I'm Casual Avenger.
No, you're not.
I'm Jayshockblast.
Zip it up, zip it out. Peace, my naysayers. Stop.
You said I could say it.
No, I'll take it back.
What?
You and Drake, your cards have been revoked. Peace.
I don't know if I hit end stream. I'm gonna hit end stream. I don't know if he's coming back. All right, bye.